Welcome everybody. So today I want to show you how to attach your spout that you've made to your teapot. So do remember you need to make sure that it is going to face up. You want to make sure that it's going to be, straight and everything. So figure out like where you want it to go. If you have any funky spots on your teapot, that's a good place for your spout to go. So figure out where it's going to sit, trace around it, real gentle. So trace around it so you know where it's about to go. Set it off to the side, make sure that it's nice and supported by something or, so it's not going to get broken. So once you have your design on there, or your circle, so that's where your spout is going to go on the outside. You're going to be adding in a series of holes to the inside of where the spout and the teapot body connect. So that'll help for making sure that like a tea bag doesn't get stuck in there, stuff like that. Now, when you do this pattern, you want to make sure that you start in the center first, and then you want to move a little bit outside of that. Now, this hole punch is about like the thickness of a pencil. There's actually some other kinds of hole punches that I like better, but we just don't have any currently. And those ones have an empty back. So like these little punches that I keep having to pull out, fall out the back instead of having to be taken out each time. So this has to be done while your project is leather hard. It can still be soft leather hard, but it still has to be leather hard. If you try to do this, I think I bumped the table. If you try to do this while it's really, really soft, it's gonna break. And if you try to do this while, if you try to do the outside of this design first, and then do the inside, you're gonna have created all these little weak spots in your pattern. And when you go to like in your clay right here, and then when you go to poke your center hole, it's gonna break all the way through. Like it's just gonna rip out a big chunk, and then that kind of defeats the purpose of having this nice little pattern. So you can see the pattern that I've started. Mine isn't super even because I'm trying to do this while videoing. Now, if you have a bunch of space at the bottom, you can add in a few more at the bottom. It just kind of depends on how big of a spout you have and how big your teapot is and all that kind of stuff. So for me, I'm going to add in one more down here and then I'm going to be done. For some of you, you only want like 3 holes and that would be totally fine. Okay. So once you have your holes poked in there and you, like I said, got to do your center ones first. Then when you go to slip and score, you want to do wider than that line that we initially, I'm trying not to shake the table. You want to do it wider than that line that we drew. So you want it to be wide on the inside. You want it to be wide on the outside, because we want to have room for blending and we want to make sure that this is stuck really good, especially since this is leather hard. If you're just doing like, especially if you're using one of these tools and you're just doing it real lightly, that's not going to work. It's got to be like super, for our clay, it has to be super hardcore scored. Okay. So get it all nice and scored. I would always add your water if you're joining pieces that aren't exactly the same like moisture content, then always add your water to the slightly stiffer side. Although you never want to join like super crazy stiff to squishy, because the difference in the moisture content can be too much and it can actually crack apart later. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm supporting wherever I am slipping and scoring. I'm gonna go all the way around and make sure it's super goobery. Now my spout is still a little bit on the soft side, but like it'll be okay for the sake of this demo. It'll be fine. All right. So now that I have scored both, I can make sure, like, check and make sure that your teapot spout is straight. Because if you squish this on here and you realize that you have it all crookedy, that would be a bummer. And then you're just gonna blend around the edges, okay? So just go around and really make sure that you've blended this in, okay? So once you blended it in, kind of go around and check, make sure that everything, like look at your negative space, see if there's anything that you could change to make better. And, you know, worst case scenario, if you don't like it, pull it off and make another one. It's not that big of a deal. So happy making. Don't forget to slip and score and have fun. Thanks, everybody.